All right,
Okay, everyone.
ladies and
Welcome
gentlemen.
to episode 27 of the Foul Language Podcast. We have on a special guest. I don't know how special, but he's special. The man, the myth, a super long fan of the podcast. Cole Charlebois. In the clutch.
Charlebois, you were close.
Thank you for joining us. Actually, I don't really know how to say it. Isn't there a road in Calgary that's like spelled like the exact same as your last name, or am I tripping?
Yeah. No, there's Brisbois, and then there's Charlebois, and there's Charleswood.
I knew there was something similar because I knew I'd seen your name before, but like not like your name, but like somewhere else.
Yeah.
But nah, Smith's not got. Okay. Before we actually get into what I want to get into in this podcast, we have been going over. So this Christmas, we got some of the best Christmas presents ever. My dad decided to make every single one of us kids a bar logo slogan, like board that you would see when you're walking down the street, and then there would be like a little sign for a bar. So, Kean, you can do the honor.
So I'll go first. Hold on. Here, let me grab this. All right.
I'm a big fan of this one.
So my dad asked us if you were to have one company or like restaurant, what would it be? And so my idea was like downtown LA or some sandy beach. You have hot girls on jet skis bringing you drinks. And so the name of mine is Shawty's on the Beach. It is what it is.
It's so good.
I love that.
And so,
what it is.
so this is it's like
Yeah, what does
and I'm
it
telling
is
you,
what it is mean? Because like I get the shotties on the beach, but like
That's just
I mean, honestly,
it's
I don't.
It's just shorties on the beach. That's all it is.
there's nothing else.
It's not even a bar. It's just girls on the beach.
It's just you can't tell me I wouldn't make bank. You can't tell me I wouldn't make bank.
No,
You can't tell me I wouldn't
you
make
do
bank.
I mean, I feel like there's got to be bars with that concept, just not with that name.
Oh. Okay. I'll show you mine. So mine is the name is not as good, but the slogan might be better. The logo's also pretty dope. This one's mine.
Where anything is possible. That is great. The logo's actually really good. I'm really impressed with that.
It would be called 808s, and we got an actual little DJ, So you'd be walking down some downtown spot, you see this club, you pop in, anything is possible, and you turn up. It'd be a good time. You know what I'm saying? So that was
I can't believe that's what your dad got you for Christmas.
So I don't actually know the whole process and how he made them, but I know it involves some 3D printing and a little bit of Photoshop to actually get the designs down, but somehow he got these. They're carved into like wood, like they're full wood.
Oh wow!
So, yeah.
Oh, so he did like is it like the wood burning thing where it like burns into it?
Maybe
then,
I have no clue. So like there's like a little like you can see that there's like it's
okay.
carved in.
Oh
so,
wow!
These are like I don't know how he did it, but it's got to be some 3D printing or something. But
yeah,
he made all of us something like this.
We
made one for a friend too because. Funny story. So I've never been to a barn dance before. So my friend's 18th birthday, they hosted a barn dance. Cole, have you ever been to a barn dance?
No.
Could you imagine what a barn dance would be?
I mean, I assume it's like a big barn and it's like a party in the barn.
Yeah, I think country music blasting and you're sitting on hay bales. I'm sorry. I know you're probably listening to this. I was having a terrible time. I'm really sorry. I hated every minute of that. It was country music going. I was not feeling it. But the worst part is that their drunk grandma is like walking around and they have like this little bar and it's just a table with alcohol on it. And she's like, "Oh, I'll pour you in a grand signature shooters." And she grabs 2 bottles of alcohol, pours it into a glass, and then gives it to you.
It was like
it was disgusting.
It was like coffee mixed with like vodka mixed with like some like fruit punch or something. It was just nasty.
It was the worst. And then
that sounds
here you
awful.
Go. So we made a sign for her called like Grand Shooters or something like that.
I will say the only problem I had with it is like my eyes get sensitive. So every time I was sitting on the hay bales, my eyes just wanted to die. Like all the hair and stuff, like the eyes was the worst.
Yeah.
Other than that.
Yeah, it's bad.
Okay, we'll actually get into some of the stuff. I apologize for hating on that barn dance, but I don't know who the hell would in the right mind would want to barn dance over a normal party, but that's just me. Okay, so Cole, welcome to the Foul Language podcast. I think you're the first. Now, don't take any offense to this, but I think you're the first non-basketball player to be on the pod.
Really?
Yeah, like normally we
Really?
have other basketball players, so you're probably the first. Not to say you didn't hoop back in the day. I know your junior high days were kind of raw, but you're the first non-hooper to be in the pod.
Man
So
was-
welcome. I was dropping
Yeah,
triple
it's-
doubles in junior high.
uh,
Where did let's get the Cole story. Like let the homies, let everyone know who you are. This is your chance to kind of let everyone know who you are.
Okay. Let's see. Went to Rosedale Junior High and Elementary for 9
Hey.
years. Broke my wrist in grade 9. First
Okay.
practice of the season. So I was out for most of the season. Played a couple games at the end, but it was kind of tragic. Then went on to Crescent Heights. Figured out fairly early on, wanted to get into Kines, be involved in basketball in some form or another. Coached back at Rosedale for a couple of years.
Hey.
Moved on to USC.
Okay.
Now I'm working with the Dinos. Currently, that's kind of limited, but it's been good.
So Cole is actually the fastest promoted coach in Dinos basketball history. He went from towel boy to shooting coach in a week. I don't know how he did it, but he went from towel boy to shooting coach in a week. And I'm proud of you, man. Like that's something not a lot of people can say. So I'm very, very proud of you.
Yeah, I gotta give big credit to COVID. It hasn't done a lot of good stuff, but it gave me the opportunity to work one-on-one with some really talented Dinos players. It's been good. It's been good. Bro.
Oh man.
Oh God, no, it's a good time. It's a good time.
That might have been that might have been probably the best guest introduction I think we've ever had on the podcast.
Shout out COVID making my dreams come true.
Oh
okay,
man.
Okay. For real though, for every guest that does come on the pod though, we always gotta ask them their best food combination. Could be fast food, restaurant, like a sit down restaurant, anything. What's like your go-to food and drink combo? Mine, I always give my example. Mine is when I know it doesn't really count as a drink, but it's French fries and a Frosty. That's like a goated combo. That is my food and drink combo. So what does Cole got?
So it's a food and drink combo, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. We were discussing for a drink. Am I allowed to do 2 different stores and just like combine them?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
No,
I'd say like just the cheeseburger from Smash Burger. And then we were discussing this milkshake, but the strawberry chocolate vanilla milkshake from Peter's. I tried that the other day and it is fire. It's really good.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I'm a fan.
For anyone who lives in Calgary, Cole lives not even a 5-minute walk from Peter's.
Oh yeah, like I'm
you
so
live
close.
right by it.
Yeah.
So this man, and the worst part is I'd be like, yo, like, what do you think about like this milkshake? And he's like, I don't know. So I'm a little disappointed that you haven't tried like every one of like the 500 combinations.
Bro, I'm not gonna go in there and try like the banana milkshake or like the marshmallow milkshake. Like that's messed up.
Okay. For real though, because not a lot of people where I went to school were from around that area. Although shout out my man Brian. I know Brian lived in that area.
Yeah.
What are like the top 3 milkshake combos? Like if you're going to Peter's and you've never been before, what do you need to try?
Okay.
What are some like general good like milkshakes to try?
I would say definitely the strawberry vanilla chocolate. Gotta keep hyping that up.
Okay. I gotta try it.
either chocolate Oreo or vanilla Oreo is really good.
Okay.
And then the chocolate with coffee or like mocha or whatever it's called is really good.
That must be like an ice cap or something like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
It's nice.
Okay. What about like does watermelon have a place in any single milkshake?
I don't know. I like the way I kind of look at it is, would you mix it with milk in any other setting? Like, is there anywhere where you're like, watermelon and milk is okay together? Like, are you ever just like sitting there at night and you're like, I'm gonna cut up a watermelon and have a nice glass of milk with it?
Okay, good point. I don't think I'd have watermelon with milk. Good point.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It was
saying.
like I think the first time I went to Peter's, the first milkshake I got, because you can have like 3 different ones. It was the Oreo, watermelon, and vanilla. Those are the 3 I got. It was so bad.
Wow.
It was like chunky watermelon
That is
with
the
like
most
vanilla.
delicious crossover I've ever heard. God,
It was bad. It was
that
bad.
is insane combo.
It was
That
bad.
is wild. Yeah. What made you go for that?
Let me go with that
Oh,
one.
when was the first time? I must have been like what, 10 or 12, like when I first had it. And so when you're like 10-year-olds gonna see watermelon, Oreos, vanilla, caramel, right? Like you can't tell me when you see a watermelon candy, you don't go for that candy right away, right? So I saw watermelon. I'm like, oh, I saw Oreos. I love me some Oreos. Shout out to my man Kai, Oreo man. But I grabbed some Oreos and then I was like, oh, vanilla, because I didn't know you can only have 2.
Well, see, I think that's one of the big things about Peters is people don't know that you don't need 3 flavors. I feel like sometimes people go and they feel like they have, especially like people who don't go much. They're like, oh, 3 flavors. I need to get 3. But like sometimes the best ones are like 1 or the 2. 2 is probably the best, but I think you get away with just having 1.
I think another thing you can do, I haven't actually tried this, but if anyone's out there going to Peter's soon, test my theory out. I think you can get like 2 parts of like chocolate to 1 part vanilla or something.
Oh.
So you can kind of play with it like that as well.
You're talking bartender lingo.
Whoa. Whoa.
I see what's going on here. Oh, you know what's crazy? I just read through. I found a book the other day, and it was a New York bartender's recipe, or like top 10 things to know, and it's got like thousands of recipes, and it's like 4 parts of this, 3, and I'm going, okay, what is this? And then I understood it. So now that you're talking, like you put in parts, I'm like, oh, I know what's going on now. I know what's going on. Like, oh, yeah, just go in there, key next time, and be like, all right, I want like hella watermelon and like a little bit of banana, and see what they do.
Yeah, you're like just a bit, just a little bit of banana.
Put a dash of Oreos. See how it. Put a dash of Oreos.
Oh. A dash of Oreos.
Oh no, for real. Like when you're a 10, you're walking up there going, yo, I love watermelon, I love Oreos, and I love caramel. Why don't we just combine all of those and see what we got?
Yeah, you can make some wild combos. Like it's crazy.
I wonder what the wackiest combo you can conceive at Peters is, because I know as a bartender who works behind the bar, I've already like conceived the weirdest soda like combinations. I got a little soda gun that's basically my job, is I use a soda gun to pour pop and stuff, and I've already conceived like the craziest things I could do with the soda gun. I wonder if like the homies that work at Peters, like I wonder if someone will ever order like a pina colada raspberry hazelnut milkshake.
Oh man, that would be awful.
All right, I'm not saying to be good, but it'd be some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I have to think there's some people out there, like there is people who pull up and like order the marshmallow milkshake. I don't know why, but it's like it's actually got its fans. And one guy actually got E. coli drinking the marshmallow milkshake. So that scared me away from it forever. Not from the burger, not from any of the meat, but from the milkshake. So I avoid it.
What's going in the milkshake then?
I know.
Questions here. Hold on.
I So right now, I'm on probably the most reliable source of all time. I'm on Reddit. Right.
Okay.
And so the question is, what's your favorite Peter's drive-in? The one guy's like, never tried chocolate watermelon. This guy's saying raspberry, lemon, lime, and it tastes like sherbet.
That actually sounds okay.
Like that one?
I can actually get behind
Raspberry, lemon, lime.
I can get behind that.
Maple chocolate apparently is really good. Vanilla, mint, Oreo. Makes
Vanilla
sense.
mint
that would be
Oreo?
good.
That would be
Vanilla
like
mint
a
Oreo,
peppermint patty or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Or there's those Shamrock shakes that
Yeah.
McDonald's always has. I remember taking my old girl to McDonald's.
I don't know if I can get the marshmallow, watermelon, and butterscotch. That just sounds bad. That just sounds bad. That just sounds bad.
That ain't it.
Here's what we need to do one time. How big is this Reddit page or this subreddit or whatever? How big is it?
It's
Pretty
not.
big?
I have no idea. It's not. I don't know how that big it is. How
One
big
day,
it is.
we'll just go to Peter's and we'll just scroll through this Reddit page and
Yeah.
we'll stop on something. And whatever we get, we have to get that combination and we'll see how it goes.
Oh man. Yeah, that
We'll
that's
film it.
risky. That's risky,
That's
but I'm
hella
down.
risky. That's like
Hey, well, Aiden, I got one for you.
For me?
Lime, coffee, and licorice.
Oh my goodness. That is
The last one we'll do is mint, Oreo, and lemon. It's supposed to be really good, apparently.
mint, Oreo, and lemon.
I wonder if the order you put it in changes it too.
Yeah, do you think they like I don't know. Do they layer it or do they just like mix it up?
You're supposed to know this. You live right by
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm not asking them questions. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Cole's like leaning through the window. He's like, hey yo, you mixing those milkshakes? Hey yo, make some good, Like that's not what he's doing.
Yeah, no, I go through the drive-thru like everyone else. Like I'm not.
Give it a few more stirs.
Yeah, you ask them. You're like, mix it up twice. So whatever you do to a regular milkshake, do that double. And you like demand it. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, they could just lie. Like,
as someone who works at in a restaurant, there's a lot of line that goes down. My favorite restaurant story ever. This is not from my work, but my favorite restaurant story ever is when we were in a basketball tournament in Vancouver once, and one of our coaches is from BC. He went to UBC and all that, and so we're at this. I think it was called White Spot. I think that's his name. It's some burger spot. He said it was amazing, so we went. Is it White Spot? Have you been there? Yeah. So we're all sitting there eating food, and I've told a bunch of stories about Brandon and Tika on this podcast and another one. So we're sitting there all waiting for our food, and the waiter brings out all our food. Now, for those of you who have not listened to our previous episodes, Brandon is a very picky eater, like very picky. So they bring out a burger, which he ordered with all this right stuff, but in the corner of the plate, there's a thing of cold slaw. And you can see the look on his face. He goes, "What is that?" And they give him the plate, and he says, "No, I'm not eating it. There's coleslaw on the plate." So he says, "No." And they're like, "Okay, we'll take it back. We'll make you a whole new one." I watched them take the plate. All they did was take the burger and put it on a different plate and give it back to him. And he went, "Oh yeah, this is good."
I respect that. I feel like, I mean, they don't want to waste the burger, and like. They're not allowed to eat it, right? Like that's the rule. Like you can't if someone sends it back.
That's not 100% true. If there's if there's a food, I don't know what the rules are. If you take it I bet you if they put it on the table and then you take it off, you can't eat it. But I know in the kitchen, if you mess up and there's just food that wasn't supposed to go to a table and there's just food there, it's pretty much you're allowed to eat it. I'm not 100% sure.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I'm a bartender. I don't work in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Shout out my kitchen homies. But
somebody's gonna be listening to this. Go to their job tomorrow. Make some burger. Mess it up on purpose and just like snacking on it. All right.
Whoops.
Oh, you said no onions? Oh, it's my bad.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh.
I'll just save it here in case anyone else needs it. Oh man, nah, it's fun. It's fun working at a bar. It's crazy though. Even though I don't work there that much, but the homies are homies. Now, because we have Cole on the podcast, for anyone that knows Cole, you know that he is insanely good at Rocket League. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. My man is raw at Rocket League. If you don't know what Rocket League is, it's the video game where you play soccer with flying cars. So, Cole, I need to ask you, what is the chances of you going pro in Rocket League? When do we see the Cole Star Striker like pro tour and all that?
I mean, it's interesting actually because Rocket League's going to the Olympics.
No way.
Coming.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, so I guess it's not like an actual Olympic event. Yeah. It's like you're not playing Rocket League and getting a gold medal. That's not how it works. It's like,
but it's affiliate.
Like it's like affiliate. It's like Rocket League X Olympics, and they're playing it like in an Olympic stadium or something like that.
Ambitious crossover of 2021 Rocket League X Olympics.
No, I'm telling you.
Could you imagine, like, Michael Phelps is like swimming for his life. These people are running like marathons. Well, these dudes just playing with some controllers. So that was gonna win by like a gold medal, and it's gonna be like, oh, our Rocket League team needed to do better. Like,
no, I mean,
do you think they would get like cheered like in the opening ceremonies when they like show the Rocket League players? You think the crowd would go nuts for them?
I mean, they would just be with like everyone else in theory. Yeah, like they would just be standing with Team Canada, but they'd probably be like, is that curling? Like who's pulling up looking?
Some fat dude, fat dude is gonna be walking in, and they're like, who the hell? He's like.
Yeah, bro, like Turbo. Have you guys seen Turbo Pulsar?
Yeah, this dude is like 350 pounds.
Oh, bro,
he's
Turbo
massive. He's massive. Oh, this is like massive dude just gonna be just walking around the Olympic Stadium. Just like what sport is he playing for?
Sumo wrestlers like competition.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm thinking if I can get signed with the national team. This is all jokes, of course. I'd have to put in some serious hours. But if I could get signed with the national team to play Rocket League, it would be fun to go for.
I got a more realistic question.
Yeah.
If UFC started a Rocket League team, would you join it?
Absolutely.
So,
this man has already played second in a tournament in like an actual Rocket League event.
Yeah.
I
know he's good, but would you actually join the team?
I mean, I think I would. Like, I know one of the homies who would probably be on it. And yeah, I think it would be really fun. I think
would you do it if it meant leaving the basketball team?
That's tough because I feel like there's not as big of a space in kinesiology for esports. So like if I'm looking at it from like a career standpoint, I've only got so many years left in like my thumbs playing Rocket League. But like
yeah, man, I gotta get surgery on my thumb here in a couple of years. I only got a couple good ones.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's limits.
His fingers gonna be a gun. It's gonna be like holding the controller sideways. His thumbs is not gonna bend.
I got like this weird grip. Yeah. No,
just
but
playing with his knuckles.
I gotta think long term here, and I think working with the Dinos is a really great opportunity.
I don't know. Esports gamer on a resume might look real good.
University esports professional. Like, what am I gonna put?
I love how intense and hyped like actual esport events are.
I
love like the crowd environment in those. Like, some other sports gotta step it up because. Like, I know people joke that like esports shouldn't be a sport, but they got more lit crowds than yours.
No, like honestly, the energy at like the one live event I played at was like insane.
Right?
Like it was hilarious. Like I don't know why so many like people pulled up, but like we had like
all to watch you.
Yeah. That's what it was. But yeah, no, it was down at the Telespark, and like
Oh damn.
Yeah, no, it was sick. And like we there were a bunch of different esports going, but they all
Oh.
got finished up early, so everyone was just sitting around
Oh,
watching us in the
you're
finals.
like the late game. It's like the last
Yeah,
game of the
exactly.
tournament when everyone's it's like
Everyone
RIT.
pulls up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone pulls up to the last game. Normally they're drunk and yelling at the refs, but it's always a great time.
Yeah, no, that's honestly what it was like.
Except
It
I
was
don't know how many
hilarious.
drunk people are showing up to esports events, but
Nah, I think they I'm not sure they serve alcohol at the
they might be
Telespark,
like
sadly.
overpowering off like energy drinks, but oh man.
I don't think I've been to the Telespike in about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, neither have
Oh
I.
yeah,
I haven't
no.
been in a
Like
while.
if I were to go into the Telespike, it would be like a completely new experience. I wouldn't remember anything.
Yeah, well they shifted around a lot too.
Oh,
And
for
like
real?
yeah, like they try and change everything up. Like when I was there, because I probably at that point hadn't been there in 2 years, and it's been like 2 years since then. Um,
Hmm.
when I was there, I didn't like recognize any of the exhibits or anything.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember some of the stuff there. I remember the one I remember the one where there's like a bunch of houses, and this is the only way I knew that people were like compatible with electricity. There's like little like power sources, and you have to like touch the power source and touch the house, and that's how you like light up all the houses is through your own
Right.
body. And
Right.
I
Yeah.
knew that's how you tell people are conductive, other than people getting electrocuted. But what else? There's a bunch of cool ones. I remember there's like that weird like water one where there's like a river going
Oh yeah, and
down.
you're trying to like redirect it or whatever.
Yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember the one up. I barely remember the one upstairs, but there was like something about like remaking a Mac or something like that. I don't really remember how that one worked, but there was the one upstairs. I remember a little bit about.
Yeah. I remember there was a big like hanging dinosaur model that
Oh
like
yeah.
moved.
You
Yeah.
know what? You know what I miss, and I don't know if you've ever went. Is the old science center.
Oh
I miss
yeah.
the old one.
Oh, that
They
one
used.
was
Remember
awesome.
they had that bike on the loop.
And yeah, and
Like
it spun around and you like, yeah, that was crazy.
yeah, like they had that. They had. I think I saw it ran twice, but like I don't even know how they got started, but like they would slowly just go like back and forth, but then they get to the point where they just be going so fast they just keep doing loops. I always wanted to try that, but
Yeah.
never
We
got
were
around.
too young for it though.
Oh, for sure, we were way too young.
Yeah.
My most favorite thing at the old science center though was the little Lego car races. I don't know if you ever remember that, but they had like
Mm.
a
Oh
bunch
yeah,
of
and they had
Lego.
that ramp.
And they had the
Yeah.
downwards ramp, and they had like little gates, and it was time gated. And so you'd build your little car, and you'd set it up against the ramp, and then the ramps would lower, and it'd be like a race to the end. I would spend like I think my parents said I spent like hours there trying to like make the fastest car to get down. I miss that. I miss that.
I remember there was the bed of nails.
Oh, really?
Everyone, yeah, where you'd lie down and then it would just like go up and you wouldn't get hurt or anything.
Yeah, that was
Everyone was so shook by that. I remember like my kindergarten class going nuts. Like they were like, "Whoa."
no way! Freaking out. Oh my god, there's nails in there again. I remember I got to make dry ice there one time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I made I think I did a camp there when I was little
Oh,
because
cool.
I remember making ice cream with liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Something. I think it was something like that.
Oh yeah, that was
It was like
awesome.
it was
That
like
was great.
cold and wet, but it was dry.
I
Yeah.
was Aiden went to you went to something at the Telespike and you came back and it was like you gotta drop the egg off of like some like the
Oh
like your
yeah.
balcony, and this dude put two things of styrofoam like this and wrapped probably 3 rolls of duct tape around it.
And
It was
it worked.
just
And
it was like
it
I
worked.
actually don't
It
know.
worked. It worked. I
It
made
was
a
just some
parachute. Remember?
massive
I made a
ball.
parachute.
No, you made a massive ball with some little like dinky like napkin parachute and just dropped it.
Yeah.
And
It
it
worked.
bounced.
I
It
remember. I
bounced.
forgot about that. Yeah, we did some. It must have been for school or something. But we
Mhm.
had Cole. I bet you did the same thing. But we had this. We were in like over where like that weird like 3D kind of like globe movie theater is.
Oh
And
yeah.
we had an egg. It was an egg or two eggs or something, and we had to make something where we could take the egg, drop it off like I don't know. We were 2 floors up or whatever, and see if the egg could stay unbroken. I was good. You know, I'm just safety like that. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
remember
you're just talented.
I
That's
made a little parachute, and we just kind of threw some duct tape together and saw
Honestly, sometimes the best solution is the easiest one. Like, I don't really remember. I don't remember doing that. I remember there was a game where you'd focus on like this like puck and it would move as you focused on it. I remember some other kid and I competing in that.
No, the last thing I remember from there is like that big like 3D or like globe movie theater.
Yeah.
And it was like you just tripping out the entire time.
Oh, it's
'cause you're, like,
crazy.
you're looking there and it's like twisting. It's like what am I even doing right now?
Oh yeah, no. It's so like you can get like seasick in there. Like it's
Bro, the craziest movie theater, no, not the craziest, the scariest movie theater I've ever been in, or whatever it's called, is like A Bug's Life or whatever from Disneyland.
Oh yeah.
That thing is scariest thing of all time. We didn't finish. I think we sat there for maybe like 15 minutes and then we left.
We finished it. We finished. I know.
We did. I didn't.
Remember they had the things. I don't know if we went to Disneyland once, and they had this. They called it 4D or they call it 5D. I don't know.
4D.
It was like 8D.
I don't know. We're sitting there and we're watching this movie, and I don't think it was the full movie. It must have just been like certain parts. But like it was the scariest stuff ever. Like you're expecting like, oh, your chair is moving and oh, it's in like 3D. But then like out of nowhere, something like grabbed your ankles and then like dropped stuff from like the ceiling at you.
Yeah.
And, like freaking out.
I remember. Yeah, the Bugs Life one had like it was like bugs crawling on your feet and stuff. Yeah. It was so.
Or underneath your seat, the one thing that freaked me out, it was like speakers or something was underneath your chair and it played a sound like rustling sound going across the entire thing.
Yeah.
And so you could like hear the rustle on you. That was terrifying.
Yeah, no.
Crazy.
And my favorite story from Disneyland is the like Hotel of Terror, the Tower of Terror, or whatever it's called. And so, how old was I when we went to Disneyland?
You're so young. You were so young.
I want to say I was what, 7 to 10, around there, 7 to 10.
Yeah,
probably between there. I think probably like 5. And so I love going on rides. Like I will go on any ride. And so I'm young and I'm going on this ride. And when you first like walk into it, you go into this like room and it looks like an elevator. And there's this TV in it and it plays, right? And it's like 20 years ago, 150 miners died underneath this thing because it collapsed or whatever the story was. Mm-hmm. And so I walk in and right as we're about to get onto the ride, I straight up asked my dad, like shaking, like, I'm like, am I going to die? I'm like, Dad, are we gonna die? And everybody, I legit asked my dad if I was gonna die.
That's great. That's actually great.
And one lady was terrified. I remember she was like shook. Like the one lady actually was like, "Oh."
I don't know, but Aiden was pissed. Aiden was so mad because the first time we went in, my sister got so scared that my dad didn't want to leave me with Aiden. So Aiden and my sister walked out. And then that's when I said it. So Aiden wasn't there. And it was a dope ride. It was a fun ride. Mm-hmm. No, the other funny story that I have
that was terrible.
Is on our way. So we drove down there. So on our way, I just broken my arm. So I broke my ulna at my wrist and at my elbow. And so it snapped like clear cut, one here and one here. And broke my radius like at my elbow and dislocated my elbow. So I was like messed, right? And so I had this cast on. And it was like, then can't move your elbow, can't move your arm. It was like a full-on cast. And so I just got it off. And so when I was walking, I had this sling thing that I could only move so far. I only had so little range of motion. At the same time, I had a shaved head, right? Because for some reason, young Kian didn't have a lot of hair. He decided to just shave it all off every time a little bit grew. And so at this time, I couldn't ride any bikes or anything. So Maggie and Aiden were riding around on bikes around this campground that we were staying in. And me, I couldn't just sit still. So I was chasing after them while they were on their bikes. And this time, I don't remember, but what I heard was that every time we were going, people would give me free cookies. So I would be running around. I probably got like 12 different cookies. Like they were giving like my family like food and stuff. And we were getting everything. And my parents were like, what is happening? And they see the arm, shaved head. Like this was like shaved. Like I didn't have any hair. They're like, oh. So people straight up thought I had like chemo or something. And I was chasing my siblings around the campground, giving us free cookies. And food.
Oh, no.
They thought he was like
They thought I was like deadly
ill.
ill. Like they thought I was like
Oh, wow.
died. And so my parents are like, oh yeah, I want to wait to Disneyland. I thought I was some like Make-A-Wish kid who's like, hey, let's go to Disneyland. And so they got like free cookies.
That's so good.
Oh, that was funny.
I remember some people at the actual like Disneyland thought you had something too, so they like let us on like rides sometimes.
Oh, that is sick.
Yeah.
You brought Kian along. It's like a fast pass.
we had we had like the fast pass. We had a fast pass, but then we had the fast pass. Like we skipped the fast pass line.
It was nuts.
Oh,
that is awesome.
They used to bring us through the exit because they're like, oh, we got to get this kid on the ride.
Oh, that was funny.
That is so good.
Oh man, I got a whole bunch of basketball questions, but I don't even know if I want to ask them.
What was the other Disney thing I was thinking of? I'm convinced this is probably cap. This is probably complete cap, but I'm convinced I hold the record for most consecutive rides of Splash Mountain in a row.
What?
How many?
10.
10?
Yeah.
How? Because that ride is never unfold.
Okay. So you know that like World of Color show over in like California Adventure?
Yeah.
So the first time we went to Disneyland, I discovered like if you just go to Disneyland instead of California Adventure when that's going on, the rides are just dead.
There's
like no one's on them. So we on that day did 10, but it wasn't in a row. And then I think the next year when we came back, I was like, Dad, we've got to go for this. And we did something crazy. Like it was like 8 or 9 or 10. Like, and it was all in one night. And then we went on the Pirates of the Caribbean one like 6 times. Like it was just like we were just going around and around. And I didn't get bored. I loved it. But
that was like, so me and Aiden, our family, we used to like every year we went to Radium. I think it's in BC. And then from Radium, we drove all the way down to Coeur d'Alene and we stayed there for about a week. And so the one time there's this huge, it's like a water park and an amusement park. And the name is Silverwood.
Yeah.
And so when we went there, it was Toyota Tuesday. If you had a Toyota, you got in free.
Yeah.
And this is like and it's like
awesome.
it was like 27 degrees outside too. Like it was hot. Like I think it might have even been 30 degrees. Like it was hot. And so like it took us like we got in here, and so we were planning on this day, and we were going with friends, and like it was like an hour to get on just like some random water park ride. So like, all right, we have nothing. Yeah. We went over to the amusement side early, and there was nobody. I'm pretty sure. Like, what was the one called? Aftershock, was it? Like it's like the 2-pillar one, and you hang. I think we went on that 14 times in a row, or something crazy like that.
Wow.
Like, and we never wait. Like we just kept going and going and going. And it was crazy. Like it took us probably 45 minutes to get into the parking lot.
It was insane.
Like it was crazy.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Like, it was the craziest thing.
I think I've only ever been to the water park side there. And like, yeah, at Silverwood. Like I remember we went down there when I was little for a vacation, but I don't think we ever made it to the amusement park.
We used to go every second summer. We'd drive down there and stay in like Coeur d'Alene in that area. But yeah, we do like we would go probably twice. We go one day, we do like all the water park, and the next day we do like the amusement park. But we went on those that aftershock roller coaster. We did that one so many times. and the Charmers one, like we lived.
And the best part about the best part about it is like it's open hella late, right? It gets like
Yeah.
because in the summer like it doesn't get dark till like at 10, and it like then like it closes at like 12 or something. So at 11:30, you're driving down this wooden roller coaster that's all lit up, so you can't see like anything around you except for like cars. It was like it's dope.
It was sweet. Yeah. It would get dark when sometimes if you got on like the rides late at night, it would be like nothing but like the lights of the park would be on, and you would be riding these roller coasters and stuff, and you have no idea where the hell you're going. So not only are you going 100 kilometers down this is a wooden roller coaster, so it's strapped in. It's on tracks. It's not like it's strapped in. No, this is gravity holding you down, and you're not. There's sometimes you're flying off your seat, and you can't see. And the last thing I'll mention is that on the one roller coaster, you go in like a tunnel, and there's not a huge tunnel. Like if I put my arms up, I would definitely hit the top of the tunnel. So I'm not trying to lose my arms. I can't see, and I don't know if this roller coaster is gonna stay in the tracks. So it got pretty live at some point.
It was what's it called?
Terrifying.
So yeah, so Tremors is the one. That's the name of the one that Aiden's thinking of. And so that I'm pretty sure it was the fastest wooden roller coaster at the time that we went. At some point, it was like the fastest, and I forget the other one. Timber Terror. That's what it was.
Oh,
it was it was like the longest, or like the longest the wooden one. And so in Tremor, you go up. And then you go down and and on your way down, you go through this tunnel, right? And so my dad, who, if anybody's watching doesn't know, is 6'8", right? Yeah. And so we see this sign where it's like, oh, don't put your hands up or anything, or else you're going to get decapitated, right? And so me, Aiden, and my sister, the four of us, who we always went on rides together, we're like, oh, Dad, you got to watch out. Like, when you get to the tunnel, like, duck, don't put your arms out. And we're going down. And he's like, he sits up a bit. He's like, whoa! And we just start freaking out. Like, what are you doing? You're going to die. Like, what are you doing? He's like, yeah. He's like, stand up. He's like, oh, my God. Oh, my God, you're going to die.
That was so funny.
That's great.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Are you a big rides guy?
Oh, I love roller coasters, man. Okay, I think actually the reason we didn't go to the amusement park is my aunt didn't trust the wooden roller coasters. So she basically banned.
I wouldn't trust them either. You're like shaking your.
Yo, you hurt your back hurts after using this. Like they are a bumpy ride.
Oh man, the one at Disneyland is bad for that too. Yeah. What California Screaming or whatever?
I love
that one.
That one.
It's like 3, 2, 1.
It's awesome. I love that one.
That was amazing.
Another actually roller coaster story about my mom and dad in Edmonton. So in West Edmonton Mall, there's this roller coaster that's inside. It's like this amusement park. And so on that roller coaster, one time the cart flew off the tracks, and like 5 people died and 14 people like heavily injured and had to get rushed to the hospital. And it was like, I think it was a week before that they went on that roller coaster. It might have been earlier. It was like a week, or like it was like 3 days or something. They went on the same roller coaster, and like 3 days later it happened. Yeah. And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. You know what?
That's crazy.
We went to a basketball. So we went to the Reb basketball tournament there. Shout out. I don't know where my MVP ball is, but we won that tournament. Actually, hold on.
He's just flexing.
Get a load of this guy.
He's got it right.
I don't know where my red MVP ball is.
It's right there. He's got it next to him. He was
guys. Nobody likes me. Like, nobody enjoys watching me. But he is my number 1 fan. Like, crazy. Whoa.
No, I'm glad it just happened to be there. Anyways, so I'm holding this up while I tell the story. So there we are. We already won our first game, and we're chilling. We have nothing to do. We don't play till like 8 that night. So like, let's go to the mall. And so then we take the entire team on the roller coaster Kean was talking about, and some of the guys were so scared. Like, we were waiting in line to get online, and they're like shaking. They're like holding the barrier. Like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, they were like, no, we're doing it, and we forced every single person on the roller coaster. I swear, I heard some people crying. And the best part
That's great.
is, they take your picture on the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Oh my! Some of the faces I know people took pictures. I think Matthias has it, but there's one of Brandon, and he has like the biggest eyes in the world, and he is like scared for his life. Like he is so. I need to find those pictures.
The one thing I hate about West Edmonton Mall is the pink water slide in the swimming pool. And here's why. And here's why. I don't know if you can tell. You probably can't tell by this, but by my arms, you can tell that I'm very skinny. They took my weight every single time I would wait in that line because the scale is not up to that. I would wait. I had like plans. I ate like 3 hot dogs before I attempted to go onto this water slide. I tried to gain weight. I tried to like stuff my face.
You were bulking.
I was never heavy enough. I've always wanted to ride that, but I can't because I've never been heavy enough.
So
and I haven't gone in the past like 4.
It's not that you hate it. It's that you hate.
No, I hate it. Like I hate it. Like I just hate it now.
Okay,
I hate it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But there's like the other ones that like. So I would get up there, right, and I would wait there. I would step on the scale, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, you're not light enough. You're too light to go." And I'm like, "Oh, no."
And the best part.
So then there's like
about it.
There's like this. So like there's like the weird like old like tan beige kind of like slides. And every time you went down those, they were so old, they would scratch your back every time like the slide connected. So I would not only would I wait in a line to go down this roller coaster, I would have to ride down on another one and have my back scratched every time. It was the worst.
It was amazing because me, Kian, and my dad would always wait in line to go up, and that was like the big thing: is always Kian gonna weigh enough to get on the water slide.
You were like making friends.
So we would get up to the top, and he wouldn't weigh enough. So me and my dad would go down, and then we'd just wait for him at the bottom.
Oh wow!
The funnest ride there. It was like I haven't been there in a while, so I don't even know if it's still there. But like you sat on these carts, and you picked what music you wanted. So you picked like hip hop, and it was like a thing you sat on, and it had controllers. And they had like a controller on the side. So it was red, blue, like green and yellow or something. And so as you went down the slide, music would play from like your like board or the slide or how music would play. And as you're going down, lights would flash and you try and hit the color and try and score like a high score.
Okay.
It was the coolest thing. It was like it was like a totally dark one. I totally remember this. Unless I was high out of my mind, which I've never been. And like unless I was on like acid or something, I did not remember a thing. You like rolled down these things and you'd press the button.
Damn.
And it was like you'd get
That sounds awesome.
Oh, I don't remember that. I haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah. I've got to go. I think I've only been once.
I've only been like a couple times.
Yeah.
And the tubes.
When we go play U of A one time, we'll just pull up.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll just take some.
Listen, my last Silverwood thing I will say. I don't know if you remember it, Cole, but there's like you probably don't because it's fairly new. There's like the one old kind of beige tube ride, which is like the main one where you like go side to side.
Yeah, I've tried that one.
And so then on the other side, they made this half pipe one, right? And so we would always wait in line for both of them. So on the beige one, I'm just gonna like the yellow one, it was me, Aiden, my sister, my dad, and then my dad's like friend he used to teach with, and their daughter. It was like 6 of us or something. And so they would sit on every time. So every time my dad would go up, it was the scariest thing because I thought he was going to fall on me and kill me. Like I thought he was going to fall on me and die. Right. And so we're going and we would get speed. Like we weren't like dudes.
What we did is we would stack all the heavy people on the same side of the little circle tube that you get.
Oh,
so you have one
yeah.
point that's slanted.
So I was always on the other side.
Yeah.
I was always
When they would go up the half pipe. I thought a couple times that we were gonna get up there, and then the thing was
like it was always
gonna fold
it was
over.
always my dad, his friend, and then Aiden and Maggie, and I was always across
Yeah.
from my dad. It was the scariest
Yeah.
thing.
Funny.
The other
I-
time it was like this half pipe thing, and I actually fell out of the tube, right? And
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
so
that was
so
funny.
so I fell out of so I went up and my hand slipped and I fell out of the tube. So I'm holding on to the tube, going down this like gigantic water slide and hanging out of it, and we're going fast. I'm trying to like pull myself back on,
That was
and
funny.
I managed to like right as it was like a buzzer beater. It was like me coming in clutch. I was like bang, climb back on.
So that reminds me of I went down, you know how there's like the little water slides, but you go with like the 2-person or the 1-person tubes at Silverwood. Yeah. So Rye, my cousin, you guys have talked
Good
about
old
it.
Rye. Good old Rye. Oh god.
So Rye's in front of me, and my aunt and I are going together. So I'm in the front, and then she's behind me. And so we're going down, and Rye was like insisting that he had to go alone. I think I offered to go with him, she offered to go with him, and he was like, at this point, he was probably like 6. And he was like, nah, I don't need anyone. So he gets on there, and we're going down, and it's dark. And I hit the tube, like his tube. And I'm like, Rye? And no sound. I'm like, did we run him over? Back?
You look behind you.
I'm like, wait, did we get it? So so we get to the bottom, and he's just sitting on the side of the pool at the bottom, and he's fine. But I was so shook for a minute there. I was like, I thought that was it. And that actually reminds me of this will be really funny for anyone who's met my grandpa, who's listening to the pod.
I love Wayne.
So my older cousin, or like she's not older than me, but she's like Rye's older sister. She and my grandpa were going down one of those on a tube together. And I wasn't there. I only heard from her what happened. But apparently somehow it flipped, and he rode down the whole slide on top of her.
What?
Like, so he was sitting on the tube, and she was underneath it, just sliding along.
That actually,
And she was like traumatized forever. Like, she still talks about it to this day.
that was like, so when so it's always Aiden and Maggie who Maggie's my older sister. I don't know if we probably said that, but they will always be in the tube together, and it'll always be me and my dad. So my dad would be in the back because he wasn't allowed to be in the front, right? And so sometimes he'd lean back, I would like lift off the ground. But the one time we like spun around and we were going backwards, and I was in the back and he was in the front. And so we're going backwards, and he gets to the thing and falls down, and I just go flying out of the line.
Just
like
catapult.
we made it. So like I didn't hit my head because we were out. Like we got out and then we flipped, because like when you get out of like the slide, you hit it. And then it like stops your momentum, and it like kind of jolts you. We didn't like stop the momentum. I just went flying. Like it was so
That's
fun.
brutal.
No.
That had to be terrifying. For you.
It was so scary.
Flying
No,
through the air.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Kian, young killer Kian was never terrified of anything.
He had no fear.
I know, I'm kidding. Like if I saw Aiden and Maggie doing something, I would do it. Like I didn't care what it is.
Yeah.
Right. The only time I've ever chickened out of a ride was my first time going to Calgary Stampede. I must have been like 6 or something.
Okay, yeah.
And it was, I forget what it is, but like it's like the Ferris wheel or something, but you spin all the time. So when you get to something, you stop, right? And so I'm in it with my sister, right? And we're going. And I saw this one people get stuck upside down, and I got so scared, right? Because the thing with me, as I said, I'm very skinny. I always think that I'm gonna slip out of the harness. Every time, like on Aftershock, when
That's
you
like your
slowly
fear.
go down, when you slowly go down, every time I always think that I'm gonna like, if I'm like this, I'm just gonna go like and fall down. Like I'm just gonna like slip through it like an eel and just die.
Like an
That's
eel.
like an eel, just like and die. That's always been my fear. And so I saw them and I just started screaming. That's the only time I've ever stepped off of a ride. The other we this is just literally just like Amusement Park the podcast.
Yeah, we're at the point where we're rating different amusement park rides.
So
Like,
so in Silverwood, I don't know if you remember, but there's the drop, and this is like a high drop.
Yeah,
right?
they have that at the Stampede as well.
Yeah, but it is like a high drop, and so my mom is terrified of heights, and this might have been the funniest amusement park situation I ever had. So my mom's definitely terrified of heights. She's like terrified. And so I'm like, you'll be fine. Nah, it's not even that high. You don't even notice. And so I'm like, man. And so we get her in the line and she's like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, yo, don't worry about it. And so we get her strapped in. And that's when hell broke loose. Her inner Karen just exploded. She's like, I'm hyperventilating. I'm gonna sue you. Get me off this ride and get me up. I'm hyperventilating. She just starts going crazy. Like she just starts freaking out. She's like, I'm hyperventilating. And so me and my dad are beside her, and this one guy comes around, and we're like, don't let her out. And she's like, what do you mean don't let me out? Like we were trying to convince the person who ran the ride to just start the ride.
Like
just start it. Well, you're like, listen, just start. She's fine. She always does this. Oh, she's been on this before. And he's like, well, it's like park rules that we have to like let her off the ride. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. We can go. Like, no, you don't. Like we're trying to like bend the rules, but it did not.
I remember so many times on that drop where we would go and because you don't know when you're gonna drop. Like you can maybe get a rough idea by looking like up and like seeing the.
No, because there's like the thing above you. Is there not?
Well, you can't tell. You don't know when it's going. And so many times, like we've been on that ride.
Yeah, they fake you out. They'll like drop it a little bit
or something like that, and then like you'll think you're fine, and then boom, it'll drop you. So I remember one time. I don't know who it was, but someone was like in the middle of talking or something while they're up there. And then all of a sudden they drop it out of nowhere and they just started screaming so loud. I just remember getting off the ride, dying laughing.
No, yes. So they put something above you and you can't tell. Like I probably could share my screen to show you if we really try to do that. But like
I don't think it's
there's like you sit down. So if you're sitting down like here, there's like something like this above you. So you can't tell when you're at the top. Like if something's blocking your vision.
Yeah. It's they do that. The Stampede one's pretty good as well.
Aiden, remember when we were on, I need to find, it was like the toothbrush ride.
Bro, we gotta
spin cycle. It was the spin cycle. No, I love roller coasters. This is the last one. It's on the spin cycle one. And then we found this one girl from Michigan. And Aiden's talking away, and she's like, "Oh, like where you guys from?" And he's like, "Oh, like Calgary." She's like, "Where's that?" He's like, "Alberta." She's like, "Where's that?" Canada. She's like, "Oh, you live in an igloo?" And we're like, she's like, she's like, "Oh my god." So is this like,
like the disrespect?
Like, how did you get here? I'm like, a car. She's like, oh, you have a car?
I told her I rode my polar bear to school, and she believed me. She's like, I rode my polar bear to school. She's like, no way. I was like, yeah. Just you know, sometimes he's grouchy, but it's pretty fast.
Sometimes he's grouchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, grouchy polar bears.
We call it city transit up there. I don't know what you guys call it.
The green line.
The green line.
It's what it been. I think it's been what? An hour of us just talking about roller coasters.
Kian, you got so many stories about roller coasters.
Yeah, Kian,
I do.
I can't believe we gotta get the homies at like Disneyland just to like find out.
I gotta think. I have so many more, but that I just can't think of.
Aiden, if you've got some basketball questions,
I do. I actually have. I do want to let you do a piece because I know you're a basketball homie, So I need to know if you have any strong opinions on Jordan or like who's the GOAT, Jordan, LeBron, or if you maybe got a sleeper pick.
Okay. I don't know. It's tough for me because I think uh in terms of like modern NBA,
Yeah.
and you look at just like ability to like make a team great, um LeBron LeBron hands down.
Right.
But I have to say there was something about Jordan where like LeBron seems like human to me. But like
Yeah.
I can't really fathom
Yeah.
like Michael Jordan the man. Like I kind of
I
only
feel you.
think of him as like this hooper.
Or like
And
this
like
mythical kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and he had the greatest coach of all time, and he had arguably the greatest rebounder of all time, and arguably the greatest like second of all time. And I gotta say, Last Dance made me appreciate the manager a lot more.
The
I
white
know
guy,
P.
that guy.
I know he seems
Oh
like
no,
the
you're talking
villain.
about the
I'm talking about
the fat.
Jerry.
Oh
Is it Jerry Krause?
yeah,
Yeah.
Krause. You're
That
talking
his
about the
name?
little
Yeah,
fat guy. Yeah.
yeah. I gotta say, it gave me newfound appreciation for that guy because they
Really?
made him out to be the villain, but I think
Uh-huh.
he did so many things to get Michael a good team that like they can't dismiss his bad
Well,
attitude.
so here's my thing on Jerry Krause is that like he wasn't there to draft Jordan. He had nothing really to do with the actual
Yeah,
process of drafting Jordan. And then he puts together a good team.
yeah,
Like he got I think he was involved with the Pippen. I know he got
yeah,
Horace Grant, he got Rodman, he got Kukoc. Like
yeah.
he got good players,
He got really good
but
players.
he always found a way to like make the the like something not about basketball. Like he always would say something about, "Oh, we're
Yeah,
gonna have to get
how's
better
like the
players,"
organization
and
and stuff.
like he
Yeah,
looked at it more as like running almost a business rather than a sports team,
yeah,
where it's like we got to make sure that our assets are always top and we're always
yeah.
up in our game, rather than what we are literally the best right now.
Mm.
We don't I think need to change anything because we might do it again, but instead he was always kind of like
Yeah,
overthinking stuff and making it not so much about basketball and bringing other stuff into it. That's
yeah.
why I find some of those stories about Scottie Pippen, like I find
Oh
some of them
man.
hilarious.
Oh, it's
Like
so
some
funny.
of them are like over the line, where Scotty's like cursing him out and
Oh,
saying some crazy stuff.
Scotty got so mad at him. Like,
He really did.
and Scotty in the end actually made more money, I think, than Michael off like contracts alone.
Well, that was so the one thing I don't get about Scottie Pippen's whole career is he signs that stupid contract,
Oh yeah,
and
it
they
was so,
literally
and they told him it was
they
a bad
told him,
idea.
yeah, they told him, don't sign this. This is a bad contract. Like we're gonna give you a bad offer to start off because it helps us, but it's gonna be terrible for you. And he's like, you know what? $23 million over 7 years or whatever. I'll take it.
Well, and
No way.
it seemed like his mentality was like security over like
Mhm.
sheer volume of money because like I think there was stuff in there that like if he got injured, the money was still guaranteed.
Yeah.
And he did have two people at home who had injuries that put them in
Yeah.
wheelchairs. So
Uh-huh.
like I do get where he was coming from, but he should have negotiated a short term high paying contract.
Right. Like he
Like
could
it,
have
it didn't it didn't make sense to me because Michael uh pretty early on in his career was already signing like 1 year contracts. Like he
right.
would only agree to a 1 year contract. And I
Mm.
think that's kind of where like the businessman side of Michael like helped him out a lot.
Yeah.
But I actually think in some ways he should have offered to front some money for Scotty because he had
Maybe.
so much sway on the team that I
Yeah.
actually think he should have just said, uh, I'm going to take 10% of my salary and give it to my guy because he's been here, he's working hard, like
Mm.
he's a great teammate. Um, so I think
Mm.
Michael Jordan as a basketball player and kind of this myth, I think he's like the GOAT in that sense. But I
Mm.
think you look at like what LeBron's doing for his community, um, all the stuff he does like with youth basketball, and I know Michael does stuff too, but
Yeah.
I think Braun, I think he's really good at making anyone he's around better
Well,
at basketball, and he doesn't have to kind of like yell at them and abuse them to
mm.
do it.
My one thing I always think about, because you talk about like Jordan basically giving money to Pippen. So
Mhm.
do you think it matters to players more like, hey, here's a $10 million check, or hey, here's a 60-win season, Western Conference Finals. Like, do you think that matters more, or do you think maybe, like, I think Michael's way of paying Scotty, or I guess anyone else in the team, is by success, not necessarily by money, which I think I would hope the success matters more to those players than money anyways. The money is just a benefactor of wanting that success.
I mean, I think you look at I mean, personally, just me, like everyone's salary was going crazy, and there was no way Scotty could have seen that coming. Like I think with inflation, Michael would still be one of the highest. Like if they accounted for that, he would be one of the highest paid players in the NBA still, which is crazy. But he, like, I kind of think almost with Scotty, it was more about the recognition. Like he almost wanted to be recognized. So it was more about like them recognizing his value and rewarding him for it. It wasn't necessarily the money itself. The money was like an indicator of that appreciation.
I wonder how hard that has to be in like I always think about that Scotty contract, where you sign a contract but then you outplay your contract.
Yeah, like because you would never see that coming, right? Like you're not thinking of that when you get in the NBA. Like you're like, okay, I'm signing this. This is what they offered me. I'm not going to negotiate. I'm not going to try and upset anyone.
Right. And like you always think you're going to get better over time, but sometimes you don't think you're going to get that good to that degree. So Pippen in the moment he signs it, I don't think he was an amazing. Like he wasn't an all-time talent.
No.
He was still a great role player and all that.
Yeah.
But then as soon as he signs that deal, he becomes this almost top 5, top 10 player in the NBA. And now it's like, what the hell? This guy's making no money, but he's this good. So, I mean, there's always that to kind of consider.
Well, and I think it was like he was partly just a victim of like so many different things. Like, I'm not sure they actually could have afforded to pay Scotty what he was owed and pay Michael. Like, even with all the wins. Like just the salaries were going so crazy, and there were so many like top level players on that team that I'm not sure they could have actually like paid them all.
It's interesting. So okay, so then what would you think? What would you think the knock on both Jordan and like what's the biggest knock for both of their legacies? Do you think?
I think actually I was watching some stuff on Michael's Wizards years.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, he performed really well as an individual.
Especially as an old guy.
Yeah. Like he was an old guy. He was way past his prime, and he was still cooking people. Like it was ridiculous. But he like actually like they got a first round pick, I believe. They got a first. I think it might have even been the number 1 pick. Like it was really early in the draft, and he tried using his old methods of like just like verbally abusing this kid, and it like it tanked his career. Like this guy was crazy athletic. He was a really good player. So I think Michael's big problem is actually like he almost cared too much about winning, but he didn't realize like to do that you can't use the same method on every person.
Which is crazy because I always think about that one scene in The Last Dance where he like starts breaking down and then he asks for like a break where he talks about like all I want to do was just win. Like it was never I just really wanted to win.
Well, yeah, and it was never personal with him. Like he never, although he always says I took it personally. It was
and I took that personally.
It was just that he was motivating himself. Like he kind of it was all about how he could be the best player and how his team could be the best. And he thought what he was doing was right. And I think for certain players it was. Like I think the way he handled Rodman, who's a wild guy, I think he did a really good job of handling Rodman. And I think he did a really good job with Scotty, besides obviously not like giving him some sort of recognition earlier on. But I think the Wizards years as basketball kind of had like evolved a bit. I think that was a real knock just to him as a person, not necessarily him as like a player. Like he wasn't much of a leader, in my opinion.
Okay.
And then Braun, I don't know. Braun's tough because I feel like people always are like, there's always this debate about whether it's better to like stick to one team or like move around. I think one of the big knocks to Braun is like he's moved to all these teams, but he still doesn't have as many rings as Michael. And I think he like gets offers for like the teams he goes to are almost always championship teams. Like it's very rare that he switches to a team when they're in a rebuilding year.
I would actually disagree with that.
Really?
I would say that.
I mean, well, the
except
only
for-
time with Miami,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like except for when he leaves Cleveland the first time, because that first Cleveland team, it was terrible. It was just him carrying whoever.
Yeah, that's true. But that was off the draft, right? Like that's where he just
like 2014, the 2014 Heat or the 2015 Cavs. I'd probably still take the 2014 Heat, and then he goes from the Cavs to the Lakers, and the Lakers were far worse than what his Cavs were. I would say.
Yeah.
They had younger talent, but they didn't have the vets or the championship level. I don't want to say championship level, but like championship experience. So I would say maybe other than him going to Miami, it was almost a downgrade on every single team he went to.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. I know he has a lot more communication with like managers and all that stuff than a lot of people did. But I think part of the promise with him going to new teams is they're always saying we're going to get key pieces in the coming years. So I don't know, like, I guess like when he comes to the team, they might not be the best, but they're always, once they've got him, they're trying to use him as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get pieces around him. Same thing with what the Bucks are doing with Giannis right now. Basically. They're trying to basically like build a team completely around him. Trying is the key word. They got his brother. I don't know why everyone was going nuts over the Antetokounmpo to Antetokounmpo pass, but
that was a little odd.
Yeah, I was kind of like it's not that big of a thing, guys. Like,
that reminds me of like the one like just a side note. That reminds me of when somebody would make like Chris Paul on the same like NBA 2K like all-star team and just have the commentator go Paul to Paul, back to Paul, back to Paul.
Yeah,
and just spam the pass. It's like, did you not see, like, did you never do that? You just sat there like
I'll have to try that. But no, that's honestly like, I mean, I think it would be hilarious to see all the Antetokounmpos on the same team, and it's just like Antetokounmpo to Antetokounmpo to Antetokounmpo. I think that would be great.
Apparently, the youngest one is like unbelievably amazing. Apparently he puts Giannis like in his place. Like apparently, he's like 6'9", like can shoot like actually well, athletic.
Okay.
Did you see the clip from Giannis today? He caught it at the a step on the 3-point line, took 2 steps and dunked it. He didn't even dribble.
Oh,
that was pretty impressive.
He's funny because he actually used to be able to shoot. And I don't know. No knocks to the Bucks shooting coach, but there's footage of him back in high school and especially in college of actually shooting really well.
Even his first year, he was not a terrible 3-point
shooter. But then he, I think they tried to switch up his mechanics or something. Like they were because he has a very different shot than when he entered the league.
I think I don't want to. This might be just a blunt statement, but I think it's almost too much. It's too much muscle because he is a jacked. He
is a big guy.
But like you see homies who come to the Y and they're super swole and they can't shoot.
Yeah, but I mean, Braun can shoot, and Braun's a big guy.
I know, but I think maybe it's not. They must be working out different ways. Like it must be different types of muscle or different specific muscles that are going. I don't know.
I almost wonder. I think part of it with Giannis actually at this point is, I get the feeling. I really don't know, but I get the feeling if we saw him in practice, he could actually probably shoot really well. But I think it's been so long since he's had to shoot, like actual like threes, like contested threes in like a game situation.
Yeah.
That I think he just feels like he's got a way higher percentage in the paint, which he does.
Yeah.
So I think he probably just goes for the safer option. And I think when he does shoot, he's just not used to it.
Well,
so
I think another thing is that like he's like once you're known as a bad shooter,
it is so
hard to become a good shooter. Like it'll kind of be looked down upon. Like Ben Simmons and Giannis, they'll be looked at as bad shooters forever, even if they have a good shooting season. Because now every single jump shot you take is
Well, I mean, Manu Bol isn't a good shooter, but I mean, you see my man banging some threes. He was a cat. Was he?
Yeah.
No way.
He was okay. He was a good shooter. He was a good shooter for his height.
Yeah, like
he
Like,
wasn't
I thought.
He's not like a KD.
Okay, we definitely have different opinions about what a good shooter is.
Okay,
No,
hold up.
He was a good shooter. Like he was.
I'm gonna look up his
time when Biggs didn't shoot at all, and he was a okay 3-point shooter, even though he was 7-7.
He had a 60% 3-point percentage on the Warriors.
But I tell you,
what?
Take that many,
his NBA career, his NBA career 3-point percentage is .210. He's like
well,
that's not good.
Part of it is he didn't go for a whole lot of them in some seasons as well. That's like one of those things where like they'll make like the stats aren't always indicative of like, right, like it can go both ways. Some seasons he shot a couple and made them all. Some seasons he shot like none.
I wonder.
Yeah, it would be interesting to go back and just like look at some footage of him.
I mean, everyone's seen the videos of him shooting like 7 threes in a game.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like this is at a time when they didn't tell Biggs to shoot it at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you shooting those? Like imagine if he would have had the 3-point shooting practice and all that now. Might have been.
Oh yeah. He might have been I mean, Bol is gonna be he's not a terrible shooter. It's gonna be interesting to see if he can kind of transition to the league. Well, like I think he needs to get bigger because Manute Bol was never a big guy, and if you're not kind of at least like,
I'm sorry, wait, what?
That's a statement.
Like height wise, he was big.
Yeah, Manute Bol he's tiny. This man is not big.
Weight wise, he was pretty light. Like his weight to height ratio was not great. Yeah. Like he didn't have a lot of muscle.
I know what you're saying. I see what you're saying. That's funny. The 7'7" guy wasn't big.
It wasn't that big. But yeah.
I wonder what would happen if like you took like today's shooting stuff and you applied it back then. How much different it would be and all that. Like they didn't have analytics and stuff back then. But like imagine how good of a like analytical player Larry Bird would be now.
Oh, like, it would be ridiculous.
It'd be insane. Right?
Well, I think I think he would have shot, like he would probably shoot so many threes in the NBA.
So many.
Like if he kind of had the coaching that there is now, I mean, he could shoot left and right-handed.
I love watching that game where he only plays left-handed.
Oh, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. It's so impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And he still destroyed them.
LeBron tried it too one game. LeBron wasn't terrible at it, but it was not like to the degree of difficulty that Larry Bird's taking actual jump shots with his left hand at sometimes. I don't think there's any threes, but
I mean, threes were funny because they kind of thought of them as like this Hail Mary shot. Like there was there was kind of like when it was introduced, they weren't like looked down on, but it's interesting to see kind of how much it was like underestimated. For like as value. Like now, like shooters get the ball, they shoot. Like no questions asked.
Which is it's funny to think is there's that one, I don't know which season it is. I think it's in the early 90s. I think it's like maybe 91 or 92. But there's one season, it might have been the 80s actually, now I think about it, where they moved the 3-point line in, where they made it super short.
Yeah.
And they like everyone started shooting threes.
Yeah.
Like they turned it from like a gimmick to like, yo, we can actually like use this. This is insane. And the efficiency was like through the roofs and a bunch like before, like now where there's all the analytics, like that was where like all like the old 3-point records used to be. But I don't know.
I'm really curious to see if they're gonna introduce like new points, like 4 points for the half court shot.
I feel like they won't. There's no way.
I'm curious though, because I mean, I think one of the big profitable things about NBA basketball is how high scoring it is.
Yeah.
even with like the best defense on earth, these guys can't lock down shooters who can shoot from half court. Like there's just nothing to do. So I'm curious to see if to kind of like get scoring booming even more, they're going to introduce it. I doubt they will, because I think it would be kind of looked at as a gimmick.
I have to think so. And I don't
But
think,
like it would be really funny to see.
but I don't think defense wants to play like that's almost like a 3-level defense. Like right now,
Oh,
you
yeah.
the struggle of defending the 3 versus defending the paint. That would
Yeah.
be defending a paint versus defending the 3 versus defending the 4. So I don't even I don't even know how defense would work at that point. Like,
And I mean, defense is so far behind in the
Uh-huh.
NBA already, right? Like it's not like Canada West basketball where like you can lock a guy down. Like the NBA is at a point now where like scoring is always going to be easier than defending, like by far.
Yeah, I mean that's what brings in, and they're gonna keep making rules to make it easier too. Like Canada West doesn't have the same rules as the NBA, but the NBA has a whole bunch of rules to kind of make scoring easier, because like that's like even as you see these Jordan highlights going in the background, 95% of them are offensive buckets.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're seeing maybe a couple defensive plays, but even then you're not watching him like playing defense. You're watching him get a block or
exactly.
Like
well, and you look at like House of Highlights and channels like that, and that's all the clips. You rarely see like incredible defensive stop, right? Like because it's not as flashy, it's not as interesting.
I wonder though.
The last time I've heard, like, because it's always like, because like the last you see like, oh, this guy had an insane block on like a baller's life or something. Well, like Bleacher Report is like, oh my god, like look at this block. But the last time somebody like actually talked about like a crazy defensive play was probably like the LeBron James chase down. Like nobody's like ever talked to me about, oh, did you see Kyrie Irving get like this insane steal? Or did you see Jokic like pin this dude? Like everybody's like, oh, do you see Stephen Curry's game winner? Like when he pulled up on like 3 steps with like from half. Like nobody talks about defense, and nobody
That's to one point. I would say that I specifically the one example I can remember is Bam Adebayo's block on Jason Tatum.
That's
playoffs
true.
Where Jason Tatum's literally about to dunk the game winner, and Bam has his arm like almost in like it was borderline goaltending, but like Bam,
it was crazy.
Like in the rim and somehow like doesn't get posted and blocks it. But that's just like a recent kind of.
There was also the Harden one where he jumps the ball and it goes out of bounds.
Oh yeah.
That was a crazy one. That's the one I remember, because it was like, no disrespect to Harden, but I didn't really think of him as a defensive player, but that was an incredible play.
Yeah. That was
like
good.
He reacted so well to that. I mean, they were going for the foot hit ball.
Yeah, like the little dodgeball play. It's funny how like NBA like nerds, I guess I'll call them for like a better term, always rave about James Harden's post defense and how like amazing of a post defender he is.
It's just because he's big. Like he's a thick guy. Like
big boy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how. I found remember those pictures of him in like warm ups.
Oh yeah. With the where he's got the belly. He's looking huge.
Dude, he had to have been wearing a fat suit. There's just no way. There's no way. Like as soon
as he got traded, he looked hella lean.
Like he must have been wearing a fat suit to get traded. There's no way.
No, I'm convinced he went out, chugged like 80 beers, and just hung out at the strip club the night before that game, because it was like that's how we do.
Yeah, that's not a bad night. That's not a bad night.
But no, like he was looking like it wasn't even like his entire body was big. It was just like his stomach looked huge.
That one part. It's got to be the way he had his shirt tucked in or something. Like
he
look weird.
And I do wonder if he was like he wanted people to see it. Like he was trying to make people be like,
oh, that's next level. That's a next level thing. You make yourself look unappealing, or you do something to make yourself unattractive.
So they trade you. Yeah.
Yo.
Like, forget about throwing. Forget about like sandbagging a game. You just like look bad.
Could you imagine? I was thinking about this the other day. Could you imagine if they had trades for everyday jobs, like or like schools? Imagine, like, we're gonna trade Cole from Denise over to business at UBC for cash considerations and a printer. You're worth like a printer to another
Bro,
school.
the day they're trading me for a printer, I'm done. That's it. No, but that would be crazy. Like, can you imagine? Like, I'm trying to think of like a situation where that could like apply and like the real. I guess like law. If you had like a conflict of interest as a lawyer, you swap another lawyer onto the case, but it's not like you like pick up their cases.
I get traded from like the Canadian brew house to like craft beer market. Superstar
like,
comes to downtown to bartend.
Yeah, you walk in, there's like photographers going nuts. Like,
Pop out to TMZ. How does it feel to finally get out of?
No, that would
be
be.
In Calgary?
Well, no, and think about like there would be some crazy. Imagine you get. I mean, I guess they do this in like some jobs, especially like oil and gas. Like they'll put someone. They'll send someone to like Cairo or something.
Yeah.
And they'll like bring like a Cairo rep to like Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like you're leaving like the company or anything.
Yeah,
like,
it's not like you're
different.
still part of the same team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I couldn't imagine. Like, just one day you're chilling there, and like, so pack your things up. You're going to Florida. Sorry, thanks for spending your time with us.
You shake their hand.
Just like teacher trading. Oh, could you imagine?
We're almost at the
teacher
trading. We got
teacher trading. Like, oh man, listen, I know you've been rocking with us for 14 years, but you just haven't reached our expectations. We're sending you to like James Foster High School or whatever that's called. Like
Calgary teachers.
Oh my god.
Western teachers getting traded to like Crescent. And
that would be so funny.
That'd be hilarious.
Well, I had I'm trying to think. I feel like coaches do that sometimes. Like
really?
Like coaches for like I know one of the coaches for Crescent. I think he was just looking for something new, but he actually pieced out and went to Manning to be a phys ed teacher. Like I think he'd spent quite a while. My guy Rondo spent quite a while at Crescent. But he went to Manning, and then Crescent played Manning in the finals, and he was the coach. And so everyone was chanting, "Come home, Rondo."
Come home, Rondo.
And it was hilarious. It was so funny. But yeah, no, it's still not like a trade or anything, but it was funny.
Like an everyday job to like maybe get traded one day.
Yeah, that would be so weird. Like I feel like, can you imagine even if they did that with like movies or something? Like I know they do that with TV shows sometimes, but can you imagine halfway through, like you're watching a Marvel movie and the actor who's playing like the Hulk just switches?
Halfway through.
Like not even like, I know the actor who played the Hulk switched like in between movies, but like in the middle of the movie, you're like, who is this guy?
It's like, oh my.
It's like look, we were on the clock. It was the trade deadline. We couldn't afford to keep paying him.
We had 2 hours left. We needed to make a move.
Oh, it's some like crazy plot point and like some like it's like The Walking Dead, some like crazy plot point, and then like Captain America comes over, like, listen, his deadline's running out. Like, we gotta get him going. Like, this guy goes from like zombies to like modern. It's like, yo, these zombies are screwed, man. But we gotta trade him. Like,
you don't even change the character; it's just the exact same character.
Yeah. Each actor can only play. Yeah, you gotta know your role, and you just play it no matter where you're going.
The emotion.
So you're
my god.
Yeah, you got like the dream, like you got Luke Skywalker, Captain America, just hacking up zombies. Oh, that would be so. Can you imagine?
Like, weekend at Barney's, and they're like, "Oh yeah," or Barney's. Sorry, they're like a weekend at Barney's, trying to like, "Oh, what are we doing here?"
I'm just picturing if they put Baby Yoda into like an anime or something.
No.
Like he just pulls up. That would be so funny.
Just kind of sits there.
That'd be
like there's no reason. He's just he's like their new pet. Like, you know, they always have like the pet they introduce in the anime.
It's like Goku shows up in like the Karate Kid or something.
Yeah, it just kills it just destroys everyone.
Boom!
Oh man.
That would be hilarious. That would be so funny.
Andy, would that be? It's like you're developing this character. He's like crying.
It's like, it's like the final match of a tournament. Goku just comes up. Wow! Just knocks him out instantly.
He's going for like his weird like
this guy.
Where he goes like this, and then Goku just punches him.
This guy's like waiting up. He's like getting into his stance, and then Goku just comes up, just bops him.
And it's just over. Mr. Miyagi tries to throw down with him, takes him out too.
That'd be so crazy.
That'd be hilarious.
That's what I want. I want free agency in movies. We gotta make it.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
You don't have to stay. You don't like midway through the movie, the actor can just.
It's like Pokemon. It's like Pokemon. You start trading everybody. It's like the Hulk is losing in this fight. You just like trade him away. You just trade him for somebody else who can win.
Hulk
it's like Pokemon. It's just like
Darth Vader's going to Indiana Jones for 3 first-round picks.
You're committing for next year. You get like the biggest. I get The Rock. I get Vin Diesel, and I get Robert Downey Jr. and you get Darth Vader in your movie. Oh, that would be so good.
Oh, that's funny. Still applying free agency or anything. Oh,
it's like Ocean's 11 something. They just get like the Flash just pulls up. Movie ends in like 3 minutes.
Well, that was
just like damn. Like we just sold like Jim over here for like $100 and a couple of like sodas. So like, why don't we do this before?
Oh, that would be so fun.
Well, Cole, you got anything else? Anything else you want to talk about on
No.
the
I think
pod as we pull up?
I think we covered all of it. We covered roller coasters. Covered.
He's so happy.
Oh, we covered a lot. We covered a lot of roller coasters.
You talked about when you started talking about the toothbrush one. I was like, yeah, this is it. I've made it.
Made it the prime roller coaster. I found out they're actually making a new ride at Silverwood.
Oh my goodness.
The stunt pilot. They like in the market. I don't know.
What,
it's
you go
like,
up with like a pilot and you just like do
no. It's some like crazy roller coaster. It's black diamond rate. That's high intensity.
High intensity.
It's like no. They put photos on the website of literally just like some coding game. It's like I'm serious. It's like bro. I don't know. It's like when they loaded up like roller coaster derby and made a roller coaster and put on their website. I'm closing this way. I'm closing.
Hey man. Well, Cole, man. Thanks for joining us in the pod. The Rocket League star, the fastest. I just want to remind everyone, the fastest promoted Dinos coach in Dinos history. So, hey man, thanks for hopping on.
Before we leave, I do gotta say, in October.
Oh my God.
In October, we're getting this man back on the podcast for one reason.
Yeah.
And one reason alone. Yeah. September call, baby.
Yeah.
Everybody's been talking about June flight. Nah, over. September call, October 2021. This man is going to become a different person. He's going to be 7 foot tall, going to be able to throw East Bays with like 2 hands, like it's like double East Band with 2 balls. I'm telling you, on October, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
I'll tease it a little bit. I have a list of things on my phone.
Aiden's been writing them down.
I think that September Cole, because he's been hyping himself up, things that September Cole needs to be able to do. So when we get to that point, we'll invite him back on. We'll get the full list and then we'll record it and we'll get a video out so everyone can see the man himself. No, that'll be a good time. But cool. Thanks for hopping on. It's been a blast. And
thanks for having me.
I don't know. I'll catch you on Tuesday when we're at the gym shooting.
Coach Cole, baby.
Yeah.
Please, like somehow convince them to like just convince the other coaches to make him run. Just like when he's shooting around, just grab his ball and just like throw it. Be like that was for the podcast when you called me out, just like throw the ball. Like,
Some kids like that. Anyways, we'll catch everybody next week for episode 28. Not too sure what episode 28 is going to be, but we'll figure something out, dope. But thanks everyone for joining in, and we will see you all later. Cole, where can before we end it, where can everyone find you on social media?
My IG at Cole Starstrike.
There we go.
PlayStation at Cole Starstrike.
Hey, yeah.
Snap, Cole Starstrike. Keeping it consistent.
Keeping it consistent. Consistent.
I think my Twitter's the same, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Facebook's probably that too. I don't even know. Man.
I don't even have a Facebook, but Cole Starstrike.
LinkedIn, Tinder, it's all the same. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Anyways, we'll catch everybody in the next episode. Thanks everyone for joining. See ya.
See.